Hello everyone. Today we'll be talking about some changes and reworks in the UI, along with some preparations for ship layouts. Now, let's get started. Let's look at our previous update videos comments, and some of the few things we can see here when we start from the top to bottom is that we were planning to use the frame, or basically like extend having some boxes on the frame, but we decided to just keep and stick with the TFT style, as you can see from these. And next up is using some backdrop for the text here, so it's easy for readability. So that's what I went ahead and did. These professions and origins now have backdrops, so that whenever there's an image behind them, they would still be easy to read because of their backgrounds. So that's been covered. Next up, we need to, some of the things we did are changing up how the UI would look without the tab interface. Would be something like this. So we decided to keep it separate from what we did with the crew tab. So it was supposed to be the same as this, but we decided that's too much information for the player that they don't need while they're in a battle, let's say. And we went ahead and kept it simple with the profession, the name, the image of the character, and then their health bar here at the bottom. Now we also realized that we need a way to display items of the players in the main UI here. Then we took a look at how TFT did it, and as you can see, items, level, and health are displayed into the 3D model itself. So we realized that's something we can do with our game as well, but instead of the levels, we don't have that for characters, we have their profession. So this is probably too big. It'll probably look like this, much smaller when there's more characters and the ship is bigger. But I just made it bigger so it's easier to see. The point is that there is items visible, health and profession onto the battlefield itself. Next up is as you can see here, is the animation. So I made it a little bit easier to see and tell. So let me show you just really quickly. Oops, sorry, I forgot to click this. There, animate, play. And when you go from the beginning, oops, sorry, start. And state machine, click, there. Now hover over it. There, the animations are much more visible. Yeah, I had to change some parameters. But yeah, that should be it for the UI side. So as you can see, we looked at that. And then we are moving on to the layout, ship layout. So we have one right now, but this is supposed to be a max level version. What we're planning to do is have another ship layout, one being by faction, one being minimum, another being medium, and a maximum like this. But before I can do something like that, I had to make sure that it's as modular as possible and it fits with our game. First thing I did is looked at our reference games, which were FTL and Void War, and kind of analyzed what kind of rooms they have. What are the rooms that are essential? What are the rooms that are subsystems? What are systems? Which is cosmetic, and which are utilities. So as you can see, they're separated here by categories. And each having their own use during the battlefield. So with that, I decided, okay, so these are the rooms FTL and Void War have. That's good to know. It's good to have here. Now, what are the rooms that are for us, for our ships, which are usable for us? So we have here engine, shield, cloaking for defense, offense here, utility, and subsystems. Now, with that, I kind of created my own a kind of like a spot here where I can get rooms and then put them together into a ship such as this. So I had to categorize these boxes by colors, which is their kind of use, and then you have their name here inside there. Now, what are these? Now, these are defense systems, these are offense systems, these are utility, these are subsystems, then whether it's empty or not for a room to be placed, and then cosmetic meaning the player cannot enter that area. It's meant just for the like 3D objects and models. Now, what are these at the bottom? These are essential rooms that every single ship should have. All right, each and every ship layout should have these systems, which are taken from these put together. So I'll know that these rooms are needed first. Afterwards, I can add whatever is needed based on what the faction is trying to do with their ship. Now, I've also added here the design rule, which is pretty much like what is above, you know, how many minimum systems we need. These are required, and yeah, empty slots and such. This is the ship layout we had. Now, with all of that in mind, I said, okay, these are essential rooms, these are possible rooms. This is what ship layout would look like, you know, the design philosophy. Now, how would I go about creating a room? Well, first I'll need examples. So I took some ship layouts from Void War here and FTL, and I kind of wanted to use them as reference when creating new styles. And yeah, since they have their rooms already laid out like this, so we can have this kind of ship, and that ship has 3 different variations. Yeah, this ship, 3 different room variations. And when I do actually create these rooms with different levels, I at least have somewhere to look at and base them from. As you can see here at the bottom, the flagship kind of ships. And so with that, for my next steps, I'm going to be creating different ship layouts that could be for our 3D model for implementation into the game engine. So thank you very much for listening. I'll see you again in the next video. Bye.